Hi everyone, welcome to our program, How to Optimize Your Brain. Our first topic is entitled Nutrition and the Brain. How does nutrition affect general intelligence? How does nutrition affect our capacity to learn, retain, and apply knowledge? It is either IQ or EQ, as what we researchers believe. And there are a lot of myths about intelligence, and one of its genetics. Well, genetics is important when it comes to intellectual capacity of a child. Yes, it is. If your mother and father is very intelligent, there is a chance that you got a brain that has that capacity as well. But there are also cases that the mother and father are also bright, but the children are not like them. And there are also some cases that parents are not so bright, but one of the children rise on the top in regards to general intelligence. Yes, genetics also matters, but it is also very clear that genetics actually has a smaller role to play than the other factors we are going to be discussing. And one of the factors is the nutrition. Yes, nutrition has profound effects in mental performance, and it is often overlooked as an area where we can actually improve brain function and even utilize as a treatment for anxiety and depression. In regard to find a person that there is an issue in regard to their mental health and nutrition, we take a look what they are eating. Even those individuals who suffered severe depression for so many years, they will live a depression-free once their diet and eating habits are changed. And there were students who were very low in the academic, but later enrolled in medical schools as they improved their diet, particularly adopt the program. God had a better diet, a plant-based or vegetarian diet. According to Dr. Catherine Gale of British Medical Journal, the children with high IQs are more likely to become vegetarians when they grow up. That's why it says here in Councils on Diet and Foods, page 363, part of an adequate diet, grains, fruits, nuts, and vegetables constitute diet chosen for us by our Creator. Those foods prepared in as simple and natural a manner as possible are the most helpful and nourishing. They impart a strength, a power of endurance, and a vigor in intellect that are not afforded by a more complex and stimulating diet. They cannot be then based in the pen of inspiration that if our diet is according to what God designed to eat more the beginning, the grains, fruits, nuts, and vegetable, we will have a vigor of intellect. Furthermore, it says here that the grains with fruits, nuts, and vegetables contain all the nutritive properties necessary to make good blood. In grains, fruits, vegetables are not, and nuts are to be found in food elements that we need. This food prepared in a simple and natural manner as possible and the most helpful and nourishing. They impart a strength, a power of endurance, and a vigor of intellect that are not afforded by a more complex and stimulating diet. So brethren, it is very clear that a plant based on vegetarian diet contains all the nutrition and nutritive properties, found all the food elements and dietary that is complete without the use of flesh meats. So if we are planning to adopt a vegetarian diet, we have nothing to fear about malnutrition or lacking some food elements that is very necessary for brain development and brain function. And so give an opportunity to select a dietary that complete without use of flesh meats. Tryptophan is a very essential chemicals for the brain and can be found it in a lot of vegetarian food showed in the screen. But take a note that tryptophan is the food as it is very important to carbohydrates to be present with the food to get tryptophan in the brain. Many are adopting a low carb and even no carb diet. So carbohydrates deficient diet is not recommended at all, for we need to have carbohydrates in order for the tryptophan go into the brain. That's why God include in our diet, particularly grains and also the root crops. Another example that we are going to discuss about mental performance is the omega-3. Omega-3 is an essential element that we need to have it in our food. Omega-3 can be found in land plants and water plants. So as we have said that a plant-based diet is to be found all the food elements that we need. It is a dietary that is complete without the use of flesh meat. So even though we didn't eat fish, we can still have a lot of source of omega-3 from our diet to obtain this balance and complete diet. We need to eat 2 to 3 kinds of variety of simple food every meal. And our food should be not repeated meal after meal, day after day. So meaning we need to have varied food every meal. So therefore, brethren, let us improve our mental performance by changing our diet to make sure that we are getting adequate nutrition.
Thank you very much. See you again next time.